I hope you are all having a wonderful evening. I'm going to show you a few things about some stuff in Schoology, as well as where some literature circle documents are housed and kind of how that works. So right now I have up our Schoology page. All of your students have access to Schoology. If you're on the home computer, if they log into Google, I recommend Google Chrome, but they could log in and then they could go to their Clever and then Schoology. That will bring them to Schoology, just like the page that is shown here. Once they get there, on the right-hand side, we have a thing called upcoming dates. This will show you when different things are due. So here you can see on the document, we have due today was learning the game. We also have some things due this week. This is some activities that we're going to work on tomorrow. Then they have it where it's due on Wednesday. These are 3 different centers about force, motion, and energy. On Friday, over here, we can see where it says prime and composite assessment. And we could also see then a Chromebook scavenger hunt and a paper about the inquiry launch that we've been working on. This choice board is for math, and that is something that we work on every day during math class. It's different activities about the unit that they work on. It isn't something that they need to fully complete. It's just something that they will use throughout the unit while they are not necessarily exactly sitting with me at the back table working on concepts. It's just for them to be able to build upon the concepts that they're learning upon. So as long as they are on task in the classroom, I'm not requiring them to necessarily complete everything on the choice board. If you have your child complete everything at home that they don't have a chance to complete in school, they could look at that as well. So here we see, let's look at some things in particular. We're going to go to the prime and composite assessment because you notice that doesn't have a date on it. So it isn't something that the students need to necessarily submit. So when I click on prime and composite assessment, it's going to take me, since it's math, it's going to take me to the next page. And it's going to tell you exactly what the content specifications say that a student needs to be able to know for prime and composite. And that is saying that we will have the assessment on Friday for prime and composite. We started going over those types of things today. So let's go back to homeroom for Schoology. Now, some other things inside of Schoology. Let's say we're starting our first unit in science. I could click on science. When I get to science, it's going to have me the different folders for the unit. Force, motion, and energy is our first unit. So if I click on force, motion, and energy, here I could see different documents for the unit. Now, eventually the students will have more things in their performance task and stuff like that. This is the paper, the inquiry launch, that we're going to be working on throughout the week. Here's the investigation centers that you saw, the 3 documents earlier on. So when I'm at the force, motion, and energy, here I could go to a website called Quizlet, and this will allow the students to practice flashcards about the topics for force, motion, and energy. So let's click on that and see where it takes us. So here is Quizlet, and here are some flashcards having to deal with force, motion, and energy. Once they pop up, there we go. There are 12 different cards. They can flip through. It'll allow them to flip the answers and so on. So that is all there. There's also, in that same thing, a study guide. There's SOL Pass, and I'll give the students their login information for that this week. We also have quizzes and a few other things that the students could use for force, motion, and energy. Now, while we're looking at Schoology, let's go back to that main page. Here's something that I did not point out at open house, but it is something that I feel could be very beneficial. When we go to Schoology, on the side, there were the due dates that were due. Well, if I expand that into calendar form, it allows me to see everything for the upcoming month. Here we can see everything for the month of September, and I could kind of go further ahead. Here, if I hit export, you should be able to export and download the calendar to put it into your cell phone, so you will be able to see all of these assignments at any time. So in your cell phone, if you downloaded the calendar right now, it would say like Wednesday, hands-on, text, visual. All of those things will be listed for when your child has assignments due. So this is everything to do with Schoology. One other thing we're going to look at today is your student has a document. Here's one for the book Forget Me Not. And this document is where the student adds all of their questions for their literature circle. They all have this in their My Drive, Language Arts folder. And then inside of that folder, they have another one called Literature Circles. And inside, it will tell you exactly everything when the questions are due, when meetings are, etc. So this group, their meetings are on Tuesdays. Now, since we haven't met yet, I didn't tell them, but their questions are going to be due on Fridays. So they'll have every Friday, their question will be due. They'll put in their question on by Friday. So then they have time to go through and answer their partner's work as well and answer their questions over the weekend and on Monday. So questions that are due Friday. So every child in this group has to have their question in for Friday in order to give the other group members time to answer the questions over the weekend and on Monday. I hope this makes sense. Thank you very much. Have a good day.